I call the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure to order. I now would request Mr. Duncan for a unanimous consent request.
I ask unanimous consent that the chairman be authorized to declare recess during today's meeting.
Without objection, so ordered. I want to welcome you all to the organizational meeting for the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee in the 115th Congress. We have been able to accomplish a lot over the past 4 years, and a lot of it, and most of it, if not all of it, in bipartisan fashion. And was pleased that we were able to return that tradition to the committee, with the role of working across the aisle. And it's been an honor for me to work closely over the past couple of years with Mr. DeFazio as the ranking member of our Democratic colleagues. And I look forward to continuing that tradition of working together in a bipartisan way. We have much work to do, and there's a full agenda, and the focus is going to be on building the 21st century infrastructure for America. We've got a president that has talked about it through the campaign, and he's continued to talk about it and make sure that it's part of his agenda, and the Republican conference is making it a part of its agenda as we move forward. And I know that from what I hear across the Capitol, from the Senate Democrats, and I know Mr. DeFazio and those in the committee are very, very committed to building a 21st century infrastructure. Today, we are meeting to introduce new members of the committee, adopt the rules, appoint subcommittee chair and ranking members, appoint members to subcommittees, and adopt the committee's authorization oversight plan for the 115th Congress. Before we get started, the business today, I'd like to welcome our new members. I don't know if they're all here. They're probably lost somewhere in the complex. But we do have a talented group on our side. I know I've got to know that there's 9 new members, 6 freshmen, and 3 members who've served a couple of terms. They're a talented group, proven leaders, diverse background, and it'll be instrumental in them helping to get the committee's work done. I don't, who's here, and who's 1, 2, I don't, are you guys all here, your new ones?
4 of them.
How many new ones?
5.
Would you,
6. 5. Oh, yeah, okay. 1 comes one return.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 9. Well, then I'll go ahead and I'll just introduce my members and catch up later. Again, 9 new members. First, Randy Weber of Texas 14. Representative Weber joins us from the Gulf Coast of Texas, where he has 5 ports. And I'm told, and he claims, which I believe him, that he has more ports in his congressional district than any other member of Congress. So quite a bit of activity down there on the ports and trade and energy. Before running for Congress, Mr. Weber was a successful small business owner, HVAC construction, I believe. And that experience will be very helpful as we move forward, trying to figure out how to rebuild America's infrastructure. Doug LaMalfa. Doug here? Doug's not here. Randy's in his 4th term, 3rd term. Doug's in his 3rd term. He joins the committee from Northern California, California 1. As a 4th-generation rice farmer, Mr. LaMalfa, Representative LaMalfa, is a strong voice in the agriculture community, has a particular interest in water issues, and I know his expertise will come in handy as our committee works through on the many water issues we deal with. Bruce Westerman from Arkansas 4, another Arkansan, joining Mr. Crawford on the committee. Before long, we'll make sure we get every Arkansan on the committee. So, and you guys follow a great tradition of John Paul Hammerschmidt. Did you serve with Hammerschmidt? John Paul Hammerschmidt and John Bozeman, who came at the same time I did, who's now across the dome. Mr. Westerman, Representative Westerman, is a former majority leader in the Arkansas General Assembly and an engineer, so I think he's a great fit for our committee. Lloyd Schmucker from Pennsylvania 16, a fellow Pennsylvanian. Before running for Congress, Representative Schmucker ran a successful construction company and began his career in public service in the Pennsylvania State Senate in 2008. He has the experience that Pennsylvania fixed its infrastructure funding problem while he was in the Senate, so he brings that experience to us. And I got to say it because I can't pass it up, but with a name like Schmucker, you got to be good. So, Paul Mitchell from Michigan's 10th. He's in what was the old Candace Miller seat, and those of you in the committee know Candace well. He's got big shoes to fill, but he's, again, Michigan 10. He's the freshman representative on our Republican House leadership. Before running for Congress, Representative Mitchell was a proven leader in the business community and a pilot. Was he a pilot or you have a plane? You do both. Okay. Pilot and a plane, which is going to be very, very important. Again, his experience will be invaluable as we move forward. John Fazzo from New York 19. Is John here? Oh, there he is. John Fazzo's here. He joins the committee from Northern New York, where he practiced law, but has spent a large part of his career as a dedicated public servant. He served in the New York State Assembly for over a decade, 4 years of those as the minority leader. Mr. Fazzo, welcome to the majority. He understands that infrastructure challenges we face, and we're excited to have him here. Drew Ferguson, Georgia 3. Representative Ferguson is a third member from the Peach State, along with Representative Woodall, another new member from Georgia, Mr. Johnson, who we served together on the Armed Services Committee. Welcome. Representative Ferguson is a former mayor who understands the importance of transportation infrastructure at the local, state, and now federal level. So it's welcome to the committee, Mr. Ferguson. Brian Mast, Florida 18. Representative Mast comes to the committee from the Gulf Coast of Florida, and I'm proud to say he's a 12-year Army veteran serving under the Elite Joint Special Operations Command. Thank you for your service. Is Brian here? Brian, oh, there he is. Welcome. Thanks for your service, Brian. Water issues are extremely important to him and his district, so I expect him to be a leader on those issues, and he's already had me down to his district making sure I've been baptized. So. Thank you for your continued service to our country, and thanks for being on the committee. Jason Lewis, Minnesota 2, joins another great Minnesotan, Representative Nolan. Prior to running for Congress, he was a nationally syndicated radio host for over 20 years, and I look forward to working with Representative Lewis on our nation's transportation and infrastructure needs. Is Jason here? Oh, okay. We're getting so big, we're spreading across the room. Again, I want to welcome all the members of the committee. Welcome back to our returning members, and I look forward to working with each and every one of you as we move forward. And now I'd like to recognize Mr. DeFazio for a statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Obviously, I extend my thanks to the new members on your side, and we have a number of new members and one returning member on our side. Hank Johnson, Georgia, was a member of the committee in the 111th Congress. Welcome back, Hank. He represents Atlanta, world's busiest airport, Hartsfield-Jackson. Atlanta also has the nation's 8th largest public transportation system and is in the process of an ambitious expansion, including proposals streetcar, multimodal passenger terminal, expansion of light rail and bus. He will serve as the ranking member of the subcommittee on economic development, public buildings, and emergency management. She's not here, but Rep. Frederica Wilson of Florida, now in her 4th term. She represents the city of Miami, founded the Florida Ports Caucus. Port of Miami is one of the largest seaports in the U.S., now accommodates post-Panamax vessels. Port Miami supports more than 200,000 jobs, $27 billion in economic value annually. Additionally, Miami International Airport is America's 2nd busiest airport for international travelers. And then Don Payne of New Jersey. He's in his 3rd full term in Congress, represents Newark and Jersey City. His district is home to the port of Newark Elizabeth, part of the larger port of New York and New Jersey. Newark Elizabeth is one of the busiest on the East Coast, primary container ship terminal for the New York metropolitan area. Rep. Alan Lowenthal, California, 3rd term in Congress, representing communities in Los Angeles, Orange counties, including the port of Long Beach. Former chair of the California State Transportation Committee, former chair of the California Select Committee on Ports. From those posts, he played a key role in shaping the nation's largest port complex into an environmentally conscious economic engine for California and the nation, and an environmental model for other ports around the world. The Port of Long Beach supports more than 300,000 jobs throughout Southern California. Rep. Brenda Lawrence of Michigan, serving her 2nd term in Congress, represents portions of Detroit, surrounding area. Her district is at the heart of the American automobile industry. She served for 14 years as mayor of the city of Southfield, and she certainly knows from that experience how the work of this committee can directly and positively affect communities of all sizes around the country. Rep. Mark DeSaulnier of California is beginning his second term, represents part of the San Francisco Bay Area, brings a long history of accomplishment in transportation policy, former chairman of the transportation committees in both the California State Senate and Assembly, former member of the California Transportation Commission, Concord Planning Commission, Metropolitan Transportation Commission. He has also done important environmental work during his service on the California Air Resources Board. To our new members on our side and all members, I look forward to working with you as we try and move forward to rebuilding the infrastructure in the United States.
I thank the ranking member, and again, welcome to all the new members on both sides of the aisle. Again, as I mentioned in my statement, this is going to be a busy year for us, a productive year, and I think a really great year. For far too long, we have allowed investment to decline in our infrastructure, and I think we have a real opportunity to work together to increase the funding and rebuild the infrastructure that again, we haven't made the investments over the past couple of decades. I don't know, I think most members have noticed, I had put up on the walls there above the doors two quotes that are two pieces of one, the Constitution, the other, an Adam Smith in his book, Wealth of Nations, and I think it lays out pretty clearly for us that we as the federal government have a role to play in the building and the maintaining of the infrastructure of this country. So, it started with Adam Smith, and the founding fathers put it in Article 1, Section 8. So again, just a reminder. I asked a couple years ago that we started to try to put that up there, but the wheels of bureaucracy take so damn long that it took a while to get it up there, but it's finally up there. So I'd ask each and every member to occasionally, when you have any doubts, look up there and read it. Again, this committee is charged with the Constitution to do our duty, and of course, the underpinnings of it are Adam Smith and the Wealth of Nations, what he said. First order of business for the committee's consideration is the adoption of the rules of the Committee on the Transportation Infrastructure for the 115th Congress. A copy of the proposed committee rules is in your briefing notebook, together with a summary of the proposed changes to the rules from the 114th Congress. The changes to the committee rules include changes our regular meeting date to the last Wednesday of the month, given our calendar this year. Clarification, there is to be no audible use of cell phones or electric devices during meetings and hearings. Includes technical and conforming changes to meet House rules adopted earlier this month, and adjusts the subcommittee ratios to conform with the new full committee ratios. I'm pleased that we were able to coordinate these changes with Mr. DeFazio and work very closely with the staff. I recognize Mr. DeFazio for a statement on the proposed rules change.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will support adoption of the committee rules. The technical changes to the committee rules reflect the changes to the House rules for the 115th Congress. I do want to thank the chairman for working with me in a bipartisan way on establishing subcommittee sizes that accommodated a number of members on my side of the aisle who had particular interests and would have been unable to get those subcommittees without those changes. So thanks for that. I appreciate it. I also want to thank you for working with us to create better public notice and more transparency for committee and subcommittee roundtables. Pursuant to our agreement, we'll formally notice roundtables at least 1 week in advance. In addition, all roundtables will be open to the public and webcast by the committee to enable the public access to the committee's work. With that, I urge adoption of the committee rules, and I yield back the balance of my time.
I thank the gentleman. Is there further discussion on the committee rules? If not, I recognize Mr. DeFazio for a motion.
I move that the rules of the Committee on Transportation Infrastructure now before us be approved and adopted as the rules of the Committee for the 115th Congress.
The question is on the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. Pursuant to the House rules, The rules of the Committee on Transportation Infrastructure for the 115th Congress will be printed and made available to all members of the committee and public on the committee's website. Now we will approve subcommittee chairman and ranking members. Your notebook includes rosters for full committee and each subcommittee listing the chair and ranking members. The full committee vice chairman will be Jimmy Duncan from Tennessee. Mr. Duncan, thank you again. Vice Chairman Duncan hails from Tennessee and served as a state judge before being elected to Congress nearly 30 years ago. He served as vice chairman last Congress, and in the 113th Congress, he led 2 special panels of the committee looking into freight movement and public-private partnerships for infrastructure. I'm glad he's agreed to serve again as a vice chair and look forward to drawing on his experience. The subcommittee chairman and vice chairman are the Aviation Subcommittee, Frank Lobiano, New Jersey. The Vice Chairman, Paul Mitchell from Michigan. Coast Guard Maritime Transportation, Duncan Hunter, California. And Vice Chairman, Randy Weber of Texas. Oops, that's wrong. It's Jason Lewis. Mr. Lewis of Minnesota. Economic Development and Public Buildings and Emergency Management, Lou Barletta of Pennsylvania. And Vice Chair, Drew Ferguson of Georgia. Highways Transit Subcommittee, Sam Graves from Missouri, and Vice Chairman Lloyd Schmucker from Pennsylvania. Schmucker, you missed my line on how good you are. Railroads, Pipelines, Hazardous Materials, Jeff Denham of California, and Vice Chairman John Fazzo of New York, and Water Resources and Environment, Garrett Graves of Louisiana, and the Vice Chair Brian Mast of Florida. I now recognize Mr. DeFazio to introduce the subcommittee ranking members.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've established a new position on our side of the aisle in this Congress, and the caucus has elected Representative Elizabeth Esty of Connecticut as vice ranking member for the 115th Congress. Rep. Eleanor Holmes Norton will serve as the ranking member, Subcommittee on Highways and Transit. Rep. Rick Larson serve as ranking member, Subcommittee on Aviation. Michael Capuano will serve as ranking member of the Subcommittee on Railroads, Pipelines, and Hazardous Materials.
Object.
Yeah, you're too late. You missed the opportunity. Representative Grace Napolitano serve as ranking member of the Subcommittee on Water Resources and Environment. Representative John Giramundi will serve as ranking member of the Subcommittee on Coast Guard Maritime Transportation. And Hank Johnson will serve as ranking member of the Subcommittee on Economic Development, Public Buildings, and Emergency Management.
I now recognize Mr. Oops.
You're recognized. Thanks. I move that the list of subcommittee chairs and ranking members and vice whatevers as set forth in the rosters be approved.
The questions on the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying nay. The ayes have it, and the motion is agreed to. Again, I want to congratulate all the chairman, vice chairman, ranking members. And again, we have, I think, a great team here to work together to get things, some real significant things done in the next Congress. The next, we will need to approve the subcommittee assignments. A copy of each subcommittee roster will be included in your briefing notebook, and now I recognize Mr. DeFazio for a statement.
No statement, Mr. Chairman. I move that the subcommittee assignments as set forth in the rosters be approved.
Questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying nay. The ayes have it, and the motion is agreed to. Our final order of business is to adopt the committee's authorization and oversight plan. This bipartisan document will provide robust oversight critical to inform our policy objectives and ensure taxpayer money is spent wisely. I recognize Mr. DeFazio for a statement.
Mr. Chairman, pursuant to House and committee rules, each Congress committee adopts an oversight plan submitted to the committees on oversight and government reform, House Administration, and Appropriations. Our oversight activities fulfill a number of purposes. Activities include ensuring executive compliance with legislative intent, improving the efficiency, effectiveness, and economy of governmental operations, and assessing agencies' abilities to carry out program objectives. The committee is also specifically charged with investigating and eliminating waste, fraud, abuse, and mismanagement. I want to thank the chairman for working with us and developing the committee's authorization and oversight plan, and I would support and urge adoption of the plan.
Is there further discussion on the authorization and oversight plan? Seeing none, I recognize Mr. DeFazio for a motion.
I move that the authorization oversight plan be adopted.
Questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed signify by saying nay. The ayes have it, and the motion is agreed to. The authorization and oversight plan for the committee of the 115th Congress is adopted. Pursuant to Clause 2D1 of Rule 10 of the Rules of the House of Representatives, the authorization and oversight plan will be submitted to the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, the Committee on House Administration, and the Committee on Appropriations. Pursuant to Rule 5 of the Rules of the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure, the Chair notes the presence of a quorum for actions taken on all committee business today. Also, a reminder, our first full committee hearing will be tomorrow at 10 a.m. here in 2167, and it's building on the 21st century infrastructure for America. We got a great panel of corporate and labor leaders testifying before us tomorrow. So I encourage you all to be here. I think it's going to be very, very interesting. And with that, the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure completed its business for the, oops, no. We forgot one thing. Today is Garrett Graves' birthday. So for those of us on our side that know the birthday song, ready to sing it? This is your birthday song. It doesn't last too long. Hey, happy birthday, Mr. Garrett. And, you know, he got a haircut, but he forgot to shave his face. So maybe we can all chip in and get him a few razors. We might bring back the Micah rule. There you go. All right, happy birthday, Garrett. And with that, the committee is adjourned.
Micah.